Madeline, let's keep it going. Rookie first-round pick Andrew Thomas has been serving up more pancakes than IHOP this season. Hasn't allowed a sack in 5 straight games. Talk to me about Andrew Thomas and how important he's been to keeping Daniel Jones and Colt McCoy upright for this 4-game win streak.
Whoever is back there at quarterback is going to be standing upright with Andrew Thomas shoring up the left side. He has been really stepping into his own. And he's, not allowed to sack in 5 games, not allowed to pressure into. He's really starting to come into that space. But not just Andrew Thomas. We got to also give some credit to the rookie Shane Lemieux, the 5th-round pick, number 66. If you noticed, too, last week when you saw some of those big runs, that 60-yard Wayne Gallman run, some of those Alfred Morris runs, all going to the left. And why is that? Because the left side of that offensive line with Andrew Thomas, with Shane Lemieux, is really playing strong. And that's helping keep the quarterback upright. That's helping the run game get going. And that's helping them say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go this way because I feel safe.
It's a wonder to have Andrew Thomas on your squad. All right, so Madeline, here's the deal. Win streak is fantastic. We're going for win number 5. The Cardinals are the opponent this time. What has Joe Judge been focusing on leading into that matchup with the very quick Kyler Murray?
Absolutely. Very quick. But you know what? It's interesting because if you look at this matchup, it's very similar. Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, very similar style. Quarterback who can sling it, who can also scramble. And this really plays to the strengths of this Giants defense, getting that pressure, getting those the pressure on that offensive line, getting to the quarterback, confusing the quarterback with those secondary moves and switches. But you know what? This is going to be an interesting one, and it will be interesting to see if Larry Fitzgerald can play. I know that he's looks like he's been activated from the COVID list, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on as well. But the Giants are going to be back at MetLife, one game at a time. It sounds like such coach speak, but it really is the way that they focus. And one of the things that I think is really interesting is when Joe Judge got hired for this job, he said, you know what, I want to do my best to put a team on the field that will make New Yorkers proud, that will work hard. And this team is just that. And they're working their butts off. And not just because, hey, you know what, they want to win the division, but because they've got a coaching staff and a teammate and organization that believes. It's like back in that childhood story day of Thomas the Tank Engine, I think I can. And you know what? The team thinks they can. The coaching staff thinks they can. And you've heard Wayne Gallman talk about how he's got his confidence leveling up as this run game is getting going and the coaches are believing in him and putting him in a position to succeed. And then you've got, the offensive line playing well. You've got the team kind of coming together. A lot of these young guys. Tay Crowder, the last pick in the 2020 draft, has been making plays all season. Rookies have been stepping up because Joe Judge has been putting his team in a position to succeed and saying, you know what, if you're on this roster, you deserve to be on an NFL team. I'm going to put you in a position to play, put you in a position to succeed. And each week it seems like they're growing into their own and trending upwards.
Yeah, and this defense seems like it's built to at least contain, I'm not going to say stop, but contain a guy like Kyler Murray, who I think is one of the most electrifying players in the NFL right now. Now, Madeline, as somebody who has seen this team from training camp to now, could you believe that we're playing actual meaningful football games in December with the NFC East on the line, sharing with the Washington football team? You've seen these guys since training camp when they started off 1-6. Looking at them now, could you believe we're in this position?
First of all, I would like to thank the Washington football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Dallas Cowboys for all being on the same page and having a little bit of a rough start to this season. We are in this together as a division, you guys. It's a group effort. And you know what? Now in December, you see Washington going out and beating Pittsburgh on the other day, and it's like, okay, now the whole division's deciding to show up, which is making it a little bit tricky for us. But the Giants have really leveled up. And, after starting 0-5, I mean, every year in training camp, you look and you think, this team looks great. And then they start facing other teams and you say, okay, here are the holes. Here are the areas they need to address. But the thing about this Giants team that they are doing this year is they're addressing it and they're moving forward from it instead of letting the same issues keep rearing their head week in and week out.
So we're talking about the Washington football team. They are sharing the top of the NFC East. I mean, we got Jalen Hurts coming in and taking over the starting position from Carson Wentz. The Dallas Cowboys losing yesterday against the Baltimore Ravens. The NFC East is still pretty wide open, but the Giants and the Washington football team are
Mathematically,
standing at the top of it. Where do you think we go from here, man? Like, the Washington football team absolutely stunned the NFL, beating the Steelers. The Giants stunned the NFL by beating the Seahawks. No matter what you believe, it feels like the NFC East is the most entertaining division in football. Where do you see this thing ending when it's all said and done?
Grab the popcorn, man. Grab the popcorn. This is going to be quite the finish for the season. The Giants have the tiebreaker over Washington after beating Washington twice this year. So that's going to be a benefit for the New York Giants. Washington's going to have to win another game. Philadelphia, with that tie, was something that people were keeping an eye on, saying, you know what, you got to have more wins. But Philadelphia's kind of fallen off a little bit, so not as much of a threat. Like you said, Giants, Washington are 1 and 2 in this division. And then looking at the home stretch of this schedule, you've got Arizona, you've got the Ravens, who we've seen that's going to be an interesting matchup for the Giants, especially if Lamar Jackson's had some turnover issues, but we saw the other night against Dallas, he's starting to get back into that run game a little bit. You've got the Browns, and then that last game as well against the Dallas Cowboys on January 3rd. Giants-Cowboys is going to be a very meaningful game because it's going to, whatever the case may be, it's going to be, for division standing, and it could possibly mean in or out of the playoffs for the New York Giants.